All right, so James Coe's here. I've got Macon.
What's cracking, man?
On vacation, James. He's up there in that top left box.
Macon, bro, you're on vacay a lot, my dude. Like, what's going on?
So the last time I left the state of Virginia was December of 2019. I've been away this calendar year for 14 total days. So it just so happens that the 14 days come in the span of like 18 days. So I'm catching a lot of heat on that front. I'm not even staying in this hotel. I'm in a room where you plan weddings at this resort. It's vacation's not the right word. I'm on a trip, James.
I'm on a trip. First of all, I mean, you're making it sound like you're like Bilbo Baggins. You haven't left the Shire in 14 years or something, bro. It's all good.
He's got a little Bilbo Baggins in him. Maybe that's a good new name for making old Bilbo Baggins. Bilbo Baggins is on vacation. But hey, James, we've obviously got football coming up this week. We're psyched. It's coming up tonight. Y'all at home, it is your last night. It is our tonight. We're like kids on Christmas that are totally unprepared. I'm just speaking for myself. One quick update, James Coe, is that Jamar Chase made headlines saying that the ball is harder to see in the NFL than in college because there's a lack of white lines.
What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah,
what is that all about? I mean, it's got to be a thing where he's just trying to explain away the yips, right? Like maybe he is just not catching the ball very well. I mean, he hasn't played football in, a year and a half, and obviously, the last time we saw him play any kind of meaningful snaps, he didn't look good, So I don't know, man. I mean, it gives me a lot of pause and a lot of hesitation thinking about Jamar, man.
You had talked me off the ledge, and then I woke up this morning in Pro Football Focus. Jamar Chase can't see the football is the headline, essentially. So just an update there for anybody who has Jamar Chase on your fantasy football team. Don't worry about it. Start him.
Jesus.
Right, James? Start him this week.
No, absolutely not. First of all, I'm definitely benching him this week.
Okay.
There's no way. There's no way. And I'll tell you what, too, like that Minnesota defensive line, man, like the way that they have been revamped and rejiggered, man, like I think the Bengals are going to have issues. I think it's going to be a problem. And quite frankly, like I don't know what the line is right now, but like Minnesota -3, give me that all day long. I think it's going to be a blowout.
Well, yeah, I would hate to see that because one of my biggest bets is the Vikings under win total. But, there's plenty of games for them to lose from here on out. Hey, an update on our punishment for our league here, James.
What is it?
We figured something out. So the loser of the league has to drive a mutually agreed upon beater for a month, and you have to take a picture and document that you've driven it somewhere to some verified place of business once a day, and you got to post that
once a day
on my social media. So we've got a lot of followers,
love it,
and a lot of exposure for whoever loses a league. And we were wondering if you had any suggestions. What is the worst car on the road in James Coe's mind?
Oh, shoot! It might be mine.
What do you drive, dude?
Bro, I drive like a 10-year-old beat up ass Prius. I mean, it's just here's the thing. Like I live in like a semi-nice neighborhood, right? Like in Redondo Beach. And I go outside one day and there's one of those business cards. We buy junk cars.
No.
On my car, I'm looking up and down the street. My car's the only one, dog, with this card on it. I'm like, I was like, man.
Oh, well, we buy junk too. So if anybody has a beater they want to donate to the Green Light Pod, we'll pick it up in the state of Virginia. We were thinking either a Suzuki Sidekick or a PT Cruiser. Those two are kind of the leaders in the clubhouse right now. But an update on that punishment. And I am actually, as of last night, the commissioner of a fantasy league. How about that, James? Is that a scary thought?
No, you are not.
Yes, I am, dude. Yes, I am. I don't know how I ended up lording over the league that involves my nuclear family, my extended family, and my in-laws, and I'm the commissioner of that league.
My dude, you don't check your own team. How are you going to run a league?
I thought it's a great question. Macon's nodding in approval. And how many leagues is too much here, James, for you? You got a lot of friends who probably play a lot of leagues. What's the Mendoza line for enjoyment?
I don't know. For me, I am definitely of the below 5 line. And first of all, I know for a lot of folks listening, they're like 5, like that's too many. And people in my industry, man, it's like, I'm telling you, it's like 7 minimum. So like for me to go to like 5 is actually pretty good for the industry standard, you know? But yeah, I think probably for most people, 3 is good enough, you know? Cause at that point, like when you get to 5 or over, you're almost like player agnostic. And first of all, if you play fantasy, you're already team agnostic.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like at some points, like you don't even care about anything now. You don't even care about life.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like you just lay down in the middle of the road. It's like whatever, because no matter what happens, you're going to be pissed off about something that day.
Exactly.
I mean, it's hard to figure out who to root for and who not to root for. I was trying to like triangulate who's on my other teams and try to, you know, consolidate as much rooting interest as possible. But it's impossible. It's impossible to do. I'm in 4. Okay, that's the most I'll ever be in. That's up from 0 2 years ago. So, hey, we're talking about this weekend, week 1. What's going on the injury front? Is there any developing storyline since we talked last that people should look at this weekend, setting their lineups?
Yeah, I'm terrified of this like midweek Austin Eckler, you know, hamstring pull. And that's kind of the injury that he was dealing with last year too. So I've got some really huge concerns there. Like, did he re-aggravate this thing? Is he going to miss week 1? And here's the thing with the Chargers, Chris. They ain't got nobody else behind them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. It might be full go for Justin Herbert and the boys in the passing game because, I mean, I look at that depth chart. There's not anybody that like sticks out to me at all. You know, like Justin Jackson, he ain't it. You know, Joshua Kelly, as we saw last year, he ain't it. So I don't know, man. Like they just don't seem to have a lot of answers there. And if Austin Eckler misses any time, the Chargers could be in a little bit of trouble too.
Wait till I tell my dad, who auto-drafted Austin Eckler last night. He was so frustrated. I felt so bad for him. Me trying to walk him through as the commissioner how to join the league and join the draft and toggle auto pick. Well, he didn't get there quick enough, and he drafted back-to-back Austin Eckler, who's hurt, and Najee Harris, who has no offensive line. So I feel bad for my dad. Megan, you want to tell him, we tell this to so many people on the show, what he ran when we did our combine last year?
It's incredible that I don't have the exact number in my head, but I think it was 6'1".
Yeah, it sounds right.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do you think? Start making.
No. You know, size, speed profile, not looking great.
No, we had a Devonta Smith comp who I was going to ask you about in a minute, but this Tony Jones guy, he ran fast?
No, he ran super slow. He ran a 4.68, which is just abysmal for the running back position. But when you watch him play and like you go back to his Notre Dame tape, he's a big boy. I mean, he's 220 pounds, but he can move. Like he's really fluid. I think his vision is outstanding. And he kind of sort of anticipates holes opening. And I think that kind of sort of, you know, makes up for the fact that he doesn't have great long speed. So I really like his role in this offense. And, you know, quite frankly, the New Orleans Saints, they've got a great offensive line, man. Yeah. So if they give him the ball, he's going to have some space to run.
So let me ask you about these two Eagles here, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, from a fantasy perspective, you love because running quarterbacks in fantasy are a straight up cheat code. It's just not fair the way fantasy is configured for rushing quarterbacks. Rushing quarterbacks always do well. And Jalen Hurts, who is going pretty late in drafts, we're talking like the QB 8, 9, or 10. I think he's going to outkick that pretty easily. When it comes to Devonta Smith, I'm really torn, Chris, because you watch the game tape and you're like, okay, yeah, this guy's a natural football player. Like he separates, great route runner, doing all these things. But we have literally never seen in the history of the NFL since they started recording like combine times, like we've never seen a player this small who is potentially this slow, probably they estimate he ran somewhere in like the low 4.5s or the high 4.4s. Someone this small who's like 165, 170 pounds, who runs this slow, succeed in the NFL. We've never seen it. Yeah. So I'm just a little bit kind of torn on Devonta Smith. Like, can he get it done against press coverage in the NFL? I'm just not sure.
It's the first time for everything. I don't know where
It's
that's
true.
from, but I remember somebody saying in a movie. As far as Julio Jones is concerned in Tennessee, I have A.J. Brown in one of my many leagues, and, there's a little bit of trepidation there because you're like, where are the targets going? Julio this week, though, what do you think? And then beyond.
I really like Julio considering where he was going in drafts. He was going in like the 4th or sometimes even the 5th round, which is fine for where he is at right now. And quite frankly, you look at a lot of the advanced analytics and the metrics and stuff, like he really, from a on-field perspective, didn't fall off. Now, injury concerns, I get it. That's a big concern. A.J. Brown's coming off of double knee surgery and is still, as of Thursday, limited in practice. So that's some red flags for you. And then we had talked about this before, but like Derrick Henry has just gotten so much work, man. If he misses any time or he needs some rest days or some rest weeks or whatever it is, all of a sudden, A.J. Brown, double knee surgery, Derrick Henry, super high workload. Like, what's left on this offense? It's Ryan Tannehill and Julio Jones. So I actually think there's some upside here with Julio Jones. And plus they're taking on the Cardinals this week. Yeah, dude, it's all go, man. Like, fire that bad boy up. Like, Julio and A.J. Brown, if he plays, they're going to be very, very strong plays for you this week.
Oh, that'll be a fun game for Tennessee Titans fans or people that like scoring, because I think there will be a lot of that. We talked about that earlier. So last name I want to float, and this is me helping you, James. Quez Watkins. Just, keep an eye on Quez Watkins. I got him late in multiple drafts. My fourth team is called the Unquestionables.
Nice.
Hey, exactly right. And I'm feeling good vibes coming from Quez Watkins. I think it's going to be a big year.
I'm just, I think volume concern is one thing.
It's a total flyer. This is the classic.
It's a total flyer. No, it is.
Classic scratch a lotto ticket, and if I'm right, I'm going to act like NFL media. I'm going to say like I was 100% sure, and if I'm wrong, I'm going to never mention it again. I'll probably change the team
and again,
name.
it's like, because what are we looking at, right? It's like Jalen Reagor, Devonta Smith, and then, Quez Watkins, right? Like, I guess, I don't know, man.
Remember Travis Fulgham?
It's true.
Okay, he's not there. It's like,
I know.
So that says something about what they think about Quez Watkins. The word I got out of there is if he can get that playbook down, he's going to be a problem. So now that all the drafts are closed, I want to tell you guys on what you missed out on. Quez Watkins, the Unquestionables. We're kind of like the Untouchables, us three, is what I feel like. Nobody can touch us. Our fantasy teams are fucking incredible. Thanks to James Coe. Thank you, and we will see you next week. Good luck this weekend. Happy hunting there.
All right, man. I'm super excited. Like you said, week 1, it's in play. Let's go.
Dude, it's time to hemorrhage cash.